Hey guys, Chris from Harmony Turbines here. I'm sitting in front of my computer, which is a very rare video in my case because I'm always outside and, talking to the ladies and... Wait, what? Sorry, I didn't know we were recording. Anyway, I'm here at my desk because I wanted to show a little bit of the preliminary data. So we have only just begun gathering data, and literally hours after we got the turbine up on, what was that, Monday, we put the turbine up there. We were pretty much at the end of our day, so we didn't really get any data on Monday. Then we came in Tuesday and we were scrambling, trying to get all the wires hooked up, get the Arduino set up, get the database going, and we didn't really have things dialed in at that point, but we did manage to gather some of the data because I was like, the wind is blowing, guys, let's get some data. So what you're looking at here is our SQL database, and you'll even notice that the efficiency in the ohms column was null back in the early stages, but as I go forward, changes were made to the database. So now the efficiency and the ohms start filling in. What's really cool here is the majority of our wind, if you're looking at my mouse moving, was down here in this 100 watt and below range. Now, keep in mind, guys, okay, bring the camera to me. Keep in mind, this is not optimized yet. We have not optimized the turbine. We have not optimized the electrical resistance or the gear ratio that we're in up top. We haven't gotten that far yet. We're just working on getting the database to give us the good data so that we can compare apples to apples, and we can start saying, okay, let's bump the gear ratio up. Let's bump the ohms down, things like that. But with things as they were, just literally in like third gear, up on the turbine up there, first gear is like the 14 tooth, then it goes to like a 16 tooth and an 18 tooth. So as you go larger and larger, it reduces the RPMs on the generator in relation to the RPMs on the turbine. So you're reducing your mechanical advantage, which makes it allows it to spin easier. I didn't want it to be in such a high gear that we were not capturing lower wind speeds. So that's why I chose like that third gear for a starting point. And we picked a fairly reasonable set of ohms. We started out at 20 ohms, then we dropped it to 15, then we dropped it to 12. At any rate, most of the data you're going to see here is at 12 because it was in the mix of things where we were screwing around that we didn't even have the ohms in here. So you can see right here, if I highlight this line, we were upwards of 200 watts of power. Even with these crappy settings, we were upwards of generating 200 watts of power at 11:25 a.m. yesterday. For now, the wind speed, we have to check to see if this is calibrated. We think we're close, but we're not underestimating. I think we're overestimating the wind. So this 29 might be closer to 27 miles per hour, which is great, actually. We have to still calibrate the wind meters and everything. So we've got some work to do. But rough data, you're looking at this raw data. We told you, we're not going to hide anything. We're not going to obfuscate anything. But yesterday at 11:25, we had a little bit of gusting. It was 25 miles per hour, 21 miles per hour, and then a little tiny gust up to 29. We were upwards of 200 watts. So that's pretty exciting based on the fact that we had nothing dialed in. And I mean nothing dialed in. So you can see this blob, this huge blob here. Most of our data was down in this area, the wind that we were getting. As we adjust the turbine, we should start seeing this blob moving and extending much further into the 200 and hopefully even 300 watt range as we begin tweaking, getting the system dialed in. And then once we have the turbine dialed in to the best that we can with the generator that we have on it, if we're not happy with the performance, we can then swap out that generator for another generator. We've got companies actually contacting us, wanting to send us generators now. And at this point, we're gonna partner with those groups and say, okay, we're ready. We're ready. If you think you have a generator that's going to work well with our system, we'll try it out. As long as it's a reasonable price that in the end we could package it all together to sell the units to you at a reasonable price, we're gonna examine that generator as an option. So I just wanted to show you the very, very first quick glimpse of how we're capturing the data. We were also writing a ton of garbage into the database by capturing when the wind would be below 5 miles an hour or 3 miles an hour. We were capturing everything. So we have a lot of data in the database that as we're looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, we should weed this out and we should weed that out. So it'll help us to really optimize the database and have a much cleaner set of data so that we, all the lines that we're capturing are really data lines that we care about. I'll work on those algorithms as we go forward, and we will continue sharing this data with you. So I'm probably gonna, this video probably initiates a little bit of a shift now from a lot of build and machining and putting stuff up on the roof and all that to now we're going to start focusing on the data. And this video is kind of the beginning of that data collection process, because in the end, this is what you guys have cared about all along. For the people out there who were like, oh, this is a scam. If it was real, you would have had data by now. It's not an easy task. I challenge anyone to go in their garage and throw something together and get usable data out of it that is in the right range and in the right power performance and coefficient of power ratios. It's all very, very, very difficult to get all this stuff balanced and working properly. If it was easy, there'd be thousands of turbines available for you right now that would be performing exactly like you want. The reason that there are none out there that perform like you want, we're hoping to be the first, by the way, a little plug there for Harmony Turbines, is because this is difficult. It's because this is very challenging work to get it right, to do it right. And in the end, to have a product that you can afford and that we can still make some profit on so that we can keep going. So you've got to kind of mush all of these things together, pick your battles, pick the things that you need to focus on so that in the end, you can come out with a product that everyone's going to be happy with, or most people are going to be happy with. So that's what we're doing. We're beginning the phase now where the data is going to start coming in, and the next couple months of our lives is going to be all about data, and optimizing the turbines and getting things working to the best of our ability. We'll also be working on our furling algorithms and stuff to protect the turbine in high winds or in storms. So all of that stuff needs to be worked out, and we're going to share that journey with you as we do it. So there you go, guys, your first glimpse at our database where we're collecting real data from our turbines on our roof. Okay, Chris from Harmony Turbines, thank you. Take care, guys. Harmony Turbines. We now have the power to change the world.